Division III doesn't give athletic scholarships, but you wanted your kid to play D3. How much money have you spent for your kid?
$0. At the Division III level, they don't give athletic scholarships. However, they give academic scholarships to basketball players that amount to the same thing. And not just basketball players, to athletes. If you can get into the school and they like you, it ends up being just like Division I recruiting. So, like, I don't care what you call a scholarship. He didn't get it, but it's like a scholarship. What matters was the $0 at the bottom of it.
That's the point. That's the goal at the end of the day. So the interesting part of this is you use basketball to get the free scholarship, but then your son decides not to play. So like you played Division I played Division I. That wasn't an option for us. So tell me about that. Your son didn't play, but he's going to school for free.
Here recently, as you know, like when you and I went to college, if at the Division I level, if you went to the coach and said, "Hey, coach, I'm not feeling this," the next thing they were saying, "We're not feeling your scholarship either," and that's gone. But at the Division III level, because the scholarship is not technically athletic, they can't take it from you whether you play or you don't play, which for me, once I learned that, was the most important thing about playing Division III to me, because like what we believed like playing basketball at that level is about and what it's actually about is different, and not everybody likes it. I
You
loved
mean
it.
Division I?
Yeah, Division I. That's what I
Okay.
meant at the Division I level.
Okay.
Not everybody likes it, and sometimes it requires you like certain things you can't major in because of your practice schedule.
Yeah.
And there's certain things you can't do because of your practice schedule. I thought about my son, and I just couldn't imagine a situation where a Division I coach tells him like, "Hey, you can't major in what you want to, or you can't take this class because it's at practice time." That wouldn't have worked well for him. So
Right.
at the Division III level, if a coach, the coach can't schedule practice when there's class because he can't stop kids from going to class because of practice. It's literally against the rules of the university. I'm in the car with my son, and he said, "Hey, Dad, if I don't play basketball, do I still get my money?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, they can't take it from you because it's technically not tied to the team." And he said, "Well, I don't think I'm gonna play. If you don't mind." It's like, dude, I don't care. I don't care because I knew that the money was secured.
So you've been working this time like most parents. I'm gonna use basketball to get my education. The route that I was thinking it would take is you got to play AAU. So like you decided I'm gonna take my son out of AAU and I'm gonna focus on this academic camp. Like what spurred that decision? Because that was brand new, especially once you told me about it.
I was the AAU guy in this area. Like I had really good teams. All the high level kids either played for me or wanted to play for me. And I was an AAU guy. Like I had tournaments with over 100 teams in it. It was crazy when I told the people that I coached with, like, "Hey, we're done with AAU." This is the moment when I figured it out. I was refereeing at the Gasso when it was in Pearland, the Great American Shootout Tournament in Pearland. And I was on the main court at Pearland. So I was on the court where all the Division I coaches were. So I was refereeing all the sneaker teams. So I'm in the main gym at Gasso refereeing, and I see these Division III coaches sitting in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking like, but what are you guys doing here? So I go over there and I talk to them because a couple of them I knew. So I said, "Man, hey, what are y'all doing here? Y'all not getting none of these kids that's in here." And he said, "Oh yeah, we just like to come here and watch. We're not going to get any of these kids. We got to go to the academic camps to get our kids."
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, "What academic camps?" They said, "Well, there's a couple of different ones, and like none of them can remember the website. but
Right.
they said I think it's all American or all something or all academic. But that's where we get kids. So I'm a lawyer by trade, so I started doing the research, and I went home that night. That was the Saturday of GASO. I went home that night and I figured out the name of the camp, and I started researching it, and I started seeing how many coaches was going there. So the next day I go back and I see a couple of the coaches. They were on another floor that day, but I went up and talked to them about it. And I was like, hey, man, these people are advertising that it's over 400 coaches at these things. That can't be right. Because at that point, I had been to multiple camps with my son. I had been to team camps. I had been to individual camps. I had played in all these AAU tournaments. Like I had refereed Peach Jam in Atlanta, and I
Right.
didn't see 400 coaches at Peach Jam. So I
Right.
was just like, this doesn't there's no way there's that many coaches there. And they both looked at each other and said, yeah, that's about right. So then I come home, I talk to my wife. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like I'm going around to all these coaches, these tournaments. I'm chasing these tournaments, trying to get these kids seen. I was like, I can just go to this thing with my son and sit back and watch.
Yeah.
And my wife said, well, why don't you do that? So then I started thinking, well, why I need AAU then? So I called up the guy that I ran the AAU organization with, my buddy Roosevelt. I said, hey, Ro, I'm not doing it no more. I'm done. You can have it. You can coach him next year if you want. But we just gonna train and just get ready for that. Get ready for that camp. Because he played school ball, and my thought was in the summers, if I needed to get some film, because at that point I thought the only thing I needed AAU for was for the film. I was like,
Right.
well, if I need to get some film, at that point, I had enough stature in AAU basketball where I can call up a team and say, hey, man, let my son roll with y'all this week. And they would have let him play with him. So that's what I was thinking in my head. That's how I was going to get my film. But then I go to the camp, and there's a guy who videos every camp, and you can just buy the film from him, and you can even pay him to cut it up and do a highlight video for you. And so I didn't need the film. So we never played another minute of AAU
Mm.
basketball.
How would you do things different if there's anything you would do? Yeah.
I would have shut down the AAU even sooner. We would train more. I
Yeah.
would probably, like I said, I'd probably jump in 2 or 3 tournaments a year just to see if the training and the basketball knowledge is sinking in, and you can execute on the court the things that we talk about in training,
Right.
and just concentrate on that. That's what I absolutely would do it different.
Most kids are going to get recruited through their film at the level of the academic camps that you're talking about. Most kids are not Division 1. Now, if your kid's 6'9", then we could have a different discussion.